my jean jacket.
Arms embargo now, arms embargo now, for our collective liberation. We will not avert our eyes, Palestine will be free.
We are here today because as people of conscience, we have a responsibility, a duty to put an end to the weapons being built right here in our communities. This protest is part of the November 16th Arms Embargo Now F-35 Day of Action, working to expose and end Canada's complicities in Israel's atrocities. As we rally here in front of Centra to demand an end to these tools of genocide, we want to make it clear that we will not allow our communities to be complicit in this violence. This is our role, our responsibility, and our fight here in the diaspora, and we will not stop until liberation is won.
In our own backyards, F-35 jets are being built piece by piece. These are not just machines. They are weapons of annihilation raining terror on the people of Gaza, in Lebanon, and beyond. Centra produces these pieces right here at this facility. These components are then incorporated into Lockheed Martin's flagship warplane, F-35s, which Israel is using to commit war crimes. Israeli officials have stated that their F-35s have been equipped with 2,000-pound bombs and are being regularly used in the ongoing bombardment of Gaza, which has been the most destructive bombing campaign of the 21st century.
As we scroll through devastating images and videos that are traumatizing just to see, let alone experience every day, our government here in Canada continues to defend and trade weapons of war with the Zionist entity. It has been over a year, over 400 days of genocide, and we have seen tens of thousands of people blasted into pieces or crushed into the rubble. We've all witnessed the devastating impacts of Israel's bombings. There have been 17,385 child martyrs. And each day, each hour, and each minute, that number continues to increase. Cities have been turned to ruins, 129 schools and universities completely demolished. This destruction is being carried out by technology made here, right in our neighborhoods. This is unacceptable. What we are witnessing is not the collateral of a war. It is a calculated erasure, an extermination project that seeks to destroy our people, our families, and our futures. Canada enables this genocide, profiting off of the bloodshed in Gaza while presenting itself as a champion of human rights. But let's be clear, this complicity is written in every bomb that falls, in every hospital that collapses, and in every family that is erased. Canada's hands are not just dirty, they are drenched in the blood of Palestinians. We are here to declare that we will not stay silent and we will not rest until the violence ends.
When I learned about the events of October 7th and the subsequent attacks being committed on Gaza, the occupied Palestinian territories, and now more recently the attacks on Lebanon, Cambridge felt a world away from the atrocities that I was witnessing. However, I could not sit idly by. I set out to find local people and organizations that I could join so that I could do something, anything, to spread the word and call on our government to do all in its power to end what is being considered by the ICJ as plausible genocide. I soon came to find myself volunteering with Neighbors for Palestine, as well as the Cambridge Division of Action for Palestine. I have surrounded myself with a diverse crowd of like-minded individuals who are working relentlessly, fighting for human rights, fighting for an arms embargo and a free Palestine. While probably most known for the Toyota manufacturing plant around the corner and the Lay's potato chip factory, which you can smell for miles on a good day, I have been absolutely shocked to recently learn that Cambridge is also home to PCC Aerostructures Centra Industries. Shame, which is directly involved in manufacturing crucial parts for F-35 fighter jets, the same fighter jets currently being used to bomb Gaza and Lebanon. I have placed countless calls and emails to politicians at every level. During my months of persistence, I managed an email reply and several conversations with my MP, Valerie Bradford. MP Bradford is the MP for the Kitchener South Hezbollah riding, which we are standing in. She is my MP. MP Bradford has stated repeatedly that, to her knowledge, Canada is not arming Israel, despite being sent numerous articles and documents to the contrary by myself and many other members of the community. In fact, several facilities known to produce weapons and components that have been destined for Israel are found right here in the Waterloo region within MP Bradford's riding. I cannot put into words the feelings of frustration and betrayal that I am left with to find out that not only does my representative fail to listen and engage in constructive conversations, but that she has outright lied and denies that there is any local involvement in arms manufacturing, considering she has toured this very facility. I am here today as a Cambridge resident to demand that the Canadian government implement an immediate two-way arms embargo so that businesses within my much-loved community will no longer be an integral part of the supply chain that allows killing machines like F-35 fighter jets to be made.
Presbyterians have a long history of standing up against injustice and advocating for a just peace wherever there is conflict. This includes standing up and speaking out against the atrocities taking place in Palestine and Lebanon at the hands of the Israeli government. It is for this reason the Presbyterian Church in Canada has called on Prime Minister Trudeau, and given my position in the riding of MP Valerie Bradford, I call on her to ensure the same. And here I quote from our letter written by our moderator. Regarding weapons or components used in creating weapons, that Canada ensure it does not directly or indirectly provide to or purchase from any group or state likely to use those weapons or components in violation of human rights. And yet Canada continues to manufacture and export arms and pieces thereof to Israel through the U.S. Earlier this year, I met with Valerie Bradford to discuss a two-way arms embargo on Israel, in particular because these arms or parts thereof are being manufactured right here in our riding. I was deeply disappointed by MP Bradford's verbal response and continued inaction. We need our MP to speak up and out on this issue. To be a voice for the voiceless in Palestine and Lebanon, we need her to be a voice for justice and peace. Silence is not an option. We need Canada, a country that has historically stood up for peace, to be bold through word and action, so that the cycle of violence comes to a swift end in Palestine and Lebanon specifically. We need a two-way arms embargo with Israel now. In the meeting I had with MP Bradford, she explained to me that since she's representing constituents from, and I quote from my notes from this meeting, since she represents every ethnicity, religion, and persuasion, and because the issue is divisive, she would not make a statement that would upset anyone. At that time, she refused to sign the petition, stating she felt it wouldn't make a difference and that it would create more division here in Canada. She refused to sign the two-way arms embargo now petition because she felt, and I quote from my notes again, it would do more harm than good. We need our MPs like Valerie Bradford to repent, to turn around and call for a two-way arms embargo on Israel now. MP Bradford, your silence is deafening and deeply upsetting. Your very silence is creating the division you so desperately want to avoid. It is vital that our country, our leaders, stand up for what is right. And clearly what is right is that violence cease and that peace, healing, and hope return to a place that has been utterly broken. Thank you.
Centra, Centra, you can't hide!
Centra, Centra, you can't hide!
You're funding genocide!
You're funding genocide!
You're arming genocide!
You're arming genocide!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Hello. So, for over a year now, we've been emailing, calling, and having conversations with our MPs. Personally, I've had conversations with several of them, in person and through scheduled meetings, only to hear the same talking points over and over again. We've suspended arms permits to Israel. I'm unaware of any arms exports from Canada to Israel. Or, my favorite, I'm sorry, I have another appointment to go to. Lies after lies. And for what? So that companies like Centra can continue profiting off of a genocide? Canada still has over 200 active permits for direct military exports to Israel, and still hasn't closed the loopholes which allow Canadian companies like Centra to sell weapons to Israel via the US. And Canada still continues to buy weapons from Israel. Shame! Yet in every conversation we've had with MP Bradford, she continues to spread lies. Shame. Well, MPs' jobs is to represent their constituents, and as long as they refuse to do their jobs, we will continue to organize. We are relentless. Together, we are building power in Waterloo Region, and we are going to show these MPs who's actually in charge. We're here in front of PCC Aerostructures Centra factory in Kitchener, South Hespeler, which is also where I live. Thanks. My MP, Valerie Bradford, repeats the Liberal Party line that Canada is not sending weapons to Israel. And yet, here we are. In the writing she is supposed to represent in front of a factory that manufactures forward and center fuselage and keel beams, which are sent to the US and then integrated into the Lockheed Martin fighter jet. Shame! Shame! MP Bradford toured this very factory, and yet she claims to not be aware of any weapons export. Shame. Shame. And this factory we're in front of right now, Centra, is just one of 6, take this in, 6 facilities in the Waterloo region that makes components for the F-35 fighter jets. Shame. Shame. Every F-35 warplane used by Israel to bomb Gaza and Lebanon contains over $2 million worth of Canadian parts. Shame! Shame! We are here today to speak up and demand an arms embargo now! Arms embargo now! Arms embargo now! We are a part of a national movement. We are a part of an international movement. We refuse to stay silent. We will not be made complicit in Israel's genocide.
Yeah.
Every minute our MPs waste in calling for an arms embargo results in loss of precious life. That's why we will continue to push back, expose their lies, and fight for justice and liberation.
Hi, I'm Lauren Weinberg from Independent Jewish Voices, Waterloo Region Chapter. IJV is an anti-Zionist Jewish Canadian organization that was founded in 2008. We advocate for equality and human rights for everyone in Israel and Palestine. Nationwide, IJV's membership has doubled over the past year. Today, chapters across the country in Calgary, Montreal, Ottawa, and other cities are participating in this F-35 Day of Action. In Victoria, IJV is hosting the protest, which is called Bagels, Not Bombs. As IJV grows, Canadian Zionists keep trying to discredit us by saying we're not real Jews. These Zionists must believe that Jews are inherently racist because according to them, real Jews wouldn't mourn the deaths of tens of thousands of Palestinians. Earlier this week, Lisa MacLeod, an Ontario MPP who is not Jewish, claimed that Jewish students can't even cope with hearing a song in Arabic about peace.
Shame!
This is ridiculous. I'm here today because I'm Jewish. I went to Hebrew school for more than a decade. I had a bat mitzvah. I grew up hearing stories of the Holocaust, so I know what to call the murder and displacement of an entire people, the destruction of a whole society.
Never again!
November is Holocaust Education Month, but 3 of our Waterloo Region MPs, Valerie Bradford, Bardish Chagger, and Brian May, have learned nothing from it because they are allowing genocide to happen again in Gaza. When people of conscience have asked these politicians to impose a real arms embargo on Israel, they lied to our faces and claimed our region is not complicit. But we're still sending weapons to Israel. This factory, which is making parts for the F-35s bombing Palestine and Lebanon, is in Valerie Bradford's riding. Canadian politicians have expressed a lot of concern about so-called Jewish safety over the past year, while shamefully ignoring attacks on their Palestinian and visibly Muslim constituents. IJV would say to Justin Trudeau and Valerie Bradford and all MPs who have not signed the Arms Embargo Now letter, you're not keeping Canadian Jews safe by bombing children in Palestine and Lebanon. Stop using us as an excuse to support Israel's war crimes.
Israel, Israel, you can't hide. Israel, you can't hide. You're committing genocide. You're committing genocide. Not another dime. Not another nickel. Not another dime. No more money for Israel's crimes. No more money for Israel's crimes. Centra, you can't hide. Centra, you can't hide. You're arming genocide. You're arming genocide. We want justice, you say how. We want justice, you say how.
from Cambridge. I'm a Cambridge resident and a student at Laurier, but just seeing the numbers and the turnout for my community is really incredible. I don't know how far you came, I don't know where you came from, but I'm glad that you're here. Today we gather here at a manufacturer of death. Not because workers here want this, no, but because the corporations that run facilities like these demand it. They demand of the workers to build fighter jet components, and to feed their families, the workers must do this. But we're not here to shame any worker who needs to feed their families. We're here to shame the manufacturers that decided to take this on. We shame Albic. We shame Raytheon. We shame Lockheed Martin. And we shame PCC Aerostructures. And any profiteers of genocide. As a resident of Cambridge, it sickens me to know how numerous and how shrouded in secrecy these facilities have been, but not anymore. Now the community knows loud and clear, Cambridge and Waterloo region are also complicit. Shame! Growing up in a community that has the history of participating in the war machine fills me with disgust. A place I thought valued integrity and respect. Shame! My other Cambridge residents, the workers, they can't be criticized for trying to survive, or held accountable for the greed and genocide, for struggling against a system of rising cost of living, housing inequality, and useless systems of capitalism that only exploit us further. Shame! These same systems are taken to their harshest form in Gaza, the worst of the same imperialism that strangles us here. And after a year of genocide, it's appalling when these facts are presented of how our communities at home affect what many feel is too far away to care. Unfortunately for those who choose to deny the reality of their struggle, for workers who took time out of their busy week to be here with us, the genocide does not wait for us to act. The people of Palestine do not wait for us. They lead us and have shown us how important it is to resist this empire at home. So I just want to give a round of applause for them today. This genocide is a labor issue. It is a race issue, as it is a problem we call imperialism. But this remains true. Workers are strong. We are many. And when we are organized as a society, workers win. I want to thank the ways the Palestinian community has shown me love, what love really means, what labor really means, and what it is to build strong communities. Communities that know what fighting back looks like, especially when the fight is worth it. My union local is entrenched in the struggle for Palestinian liberation because their freedom is our freedom. Their blood is my blood, and their struggle, our struggle. If you're a worker, tell your union rep to get involved for Palestine. If you don't have a union, you be the change that makes them. Never ever let them convince you the fight is not worth fighting, the card not worth signing, the struggle not worth pushing, because the labor movement must return to its roots and must start radically changing the society in which we live. And my comrades, never ever ever forget this. This is our world, and it always, always will be. Thank you.
Arms embargo now! 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 Arms embargo!
Our responsibility as people of conscience to know what is right from wrong. And we are here to say that our communities will not be complicit in the genocide and in the violence. We must not sit aside while our people suffer. Our role is not to be a charity. The people of Gaza don't need sympathy. They need action. Our role is to help aid our people in Gaza in their steadfastness against the occupier. Throughout this devastation, we have been humbled time and time again by the people of Gaza as they endure the worst of what humanity has to offer, and they continue to say that we are resilient, we are steadfast. They continue to say, نحن صامدون. It is clear that we have a grand duty in supporting their existence on their land and create living conditions that counter Zionist initiatives to make the land unlivable. And it is a call on all of us to assume our responsibility to tangibly support our people's steadfastness on the land. Financial support is a political act, and it ensures our people's needs are met so that they are able to remain on the land, steadfast and resilient in the face of genocide and displacement.
I grew up in the Waterloo region. I've spent half of my life in this region. This region is home to many traditional First Nations, including the Haudenosaunee, Neutral, and Anishinaabe. It is from understanding that the crimes of occupation, apartheid, and genocide on occupied Turtle Island is a crime. That I understand what is happening in Palestine is beyond unimaginable, but is genocidal colonial violence. This genocide has been ongoing for 76 years. When I was in a primary care clinic earlier this year in February, I took care of patients, including young children who were victims of the violence from these companies that are in our neighborhoods. Children, women, men, Palestinian children, women, and men who have been maimed, killed, families completely erased. From the parts, from the bombs, from the fighter jets, funded, armed by Canadian companies. The International Court of Justice ruled earlier this year that what Israel is doing in occupied Palestine is the crime of apartheid. There is a legal obligation by the Canadian government to divest, to boycott, to sanction. The boycott, divestment, and sanction movement is not a moral duty alone. It is a legal obligation. Arms embargo now! 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 Over these past few weeks, northern Gaza has been exterminated. All of the hospitals in the north have been repeatedly attacked and forcibly displace all of the people inside of them, all of the patients, all of the doctors, all of the nurses. We are witnessing overt colonial genocide right before our eyes. And yet, the Palestinian healthcare workers, they persist. Despite everything they've gone through, they go back to the clinics, they go back to the hospitals after they've been detained and tortured in unimaginable ways that none of us could fully and ever comprehend. They continue to take care of their patients and community. Their steadfastness, their samud, we learn from it. Although everything that we do will never feel like enough, but it doesn't mean we stop trying. It means we do more. We sharpen our politics. We sharpen the ways in which our solidarity needs to stretch and push the boundaries for what we're doing in the bellies of these imperial colonial states that fund and arm Israel's crimes. Not because these colonial states need to do the right thing alone, but because what Canada has done and is still doing to Indigenous communities on this land, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, is a form of colonial genocidal violence, and what it's doing and supporting Israel is an extension of those values and principles. these systems of oppression are by design. What we do, what the people of conscience will do, is hold these institutions, these colonial genocidal states, including Canada, including the United States, including the UK, including Israel, we will hold them to account. I know that Palestine will be free in our lifetimes, not because of what we do, but because of the Palestinian resistance on the ground in Gaza. The people of Palestine will ultimately free themselves. But that reality does not absolve us of our duty and our responsibility to end our complicity in the Israel's crimes upon their people. So may we continue to do everything that we can to hold these institutions, these corporations, our workplaces, our academic institutions, our medical schools, our law schools. Every school, we hold them to account for their anti-Palestinian racism that manufactures consent for this ongoing genocide in Palestine. I am so heartened to see the numbers here, to see the people who demand that Canada end its complicity in Israel's crimes in Gaza, in Palestine, in Lebanon. But may we also continue to hold Canada to account for its genocidal colonial violence here on occupied Turtle Island. The land in which we are settlers of, we are occupiers of, that we are neighbors of, where we call home. And so this is not a one-day issue. This is not a one-year issue. This is a lifetime issue of fighting for collective liberation for all peoples who are oppressed. From Turtle Island to Palestine, occupation is a crime.
Occupation is a crime!
From Turtle Island to Palestine, occupation is a crime! Apartheid is a crime! From Turtle Island to Palestine,
We are demanding that the Canadian government cancel existing export permits, close all export loopholes, and implement a full two-way arms embargo on Israel to stop all planned purchases of Israeli weapons. We will not allow government lies and media silence to distract us from this goal. Our people are not looking for sympathy, they are looking for our action. We have a duty to continue to organize and uplift our people's resistance because we know that liberation is near and we will not stop until it is won.